Hi guys, it's Ray here from Man City Fan Chat. Hope you're all well today. I'm up at Hollingworth Lake. Very, very beautiful. You can see in the background some kids boating. Very peaceful, scenic here. Great place to come. Lots of activities up here, and cafes and fish and chips and pubs and whatever you want. Lots of nice walks and great place to come in the summer when the weather's nice. Well, today I'm going to start a new series that I'm going to do about the players that we got at the club, players that might be coming through and players that we could be getting before the start of the season, just looking at different positions. And part one of the series, I'm going to talk about the defence. Now that's going to also include the goalie. So let's start with the goalkeeper, the goalkeeping position. Now currently we've got Edison. He's going to be here for the long term. You know, when he came, he was on a 5-year contract, and after 1 year, he was so good. We bumped his salary up, I think, and we give him a 6-year contract. So, quite comfortably, Edison is going to be our number 1. Now, we had Aero Muric as our number 2 last season because Claudio Bravo got injured. Claudio Bravo's, I think, 36 years old, mid-30s, mid to late 30s. And he's a decent number 2 in my book. But he got injured, and Aero Muric, who was on loan at NEC Breda, he came back. He came back to us after 1 game for NEC Breda. I think they won 3-0, kept a clean sheet, obviously. But he came back, and that has hurt his development because he's not played enough games. And NEC Breda ended up getting relegated. I don't know how much of an impact his loss was, but you know, that's what happened to them. So Claudio Bravo and Muric, well, Muric is going to go out on loan. Okay, that's strong. Rumours are that he's going to go to Nottingham Forest on loan for the season. Following some stuff on in the Nottingham media, they believe that's going to happen, and they're actually in Alicante doing training camp there. And I think Aero Muric has flown out to Spain. Now that just might be a coincidence. We just don't know, because he put, I think, something on Instagram that he was at the airport in Barcelona, which is about a short hop to Alicante from there, or a 6-hour drive. So that's the feeling. And then we're going to look at our other goalkeepers. You know, are we going to keep Claudio Bravo as number 2? Now, part of me thinks, I think with 1 year left, I think he's a very good deputy. Could we sell him? Is it better to sell him and put a kid like Danny Grimshaw in there? You might know we bought someone from Columbus, I think it's Columbus Crew in America, in the MLS, called Zach Steffen, who looks like a very, very good prospect. But my belief, I think the word on the street, apparently the rumours are that he's going to Fortuna Düsseldorf in Germany to play for them on loan this season. You look at Grimshaw. Could Grimshaw come in as a number 2 or a number 3? Does he need to play more at the EDS? Because if you're coming in as a number 2, your time playing at the EDS is going to be restricted. It's going to be very limited. You know, if you've got to be available for every match day at Man City for the first team. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with Danny Grimshaw. You know, could we go for the kid that we got from Ireland, Bazunu? He's another good prospect. He's another teenager. You know, could we go for him? Could he be our number 2? Too young for me. At least Muric was with the EDS before. Could Bazunu be a number 3? I'd like to have a third choice keeper as a kid. I'd like that idea, purely because the homegrown thing. If we get what we're rumoured to be getting, the Eibar keeper Riesgo, who's 35 years old, I believe. If we get him, that's going to take up a non-homegrown spot. Now, briefly, we're allowed 17 non-homegrown players, and with Vincent Kompany leaving, that opened up a slot. But we've Angelina coming back is homegrown, so that's great. Rodri isn't, obviously, so he's taken up in effect Vincent Kompany's slot. So we have to be very careful who comes in and out. So Riesgo takes up a non-homegrown spot. So that would stop us potentially getting other non-homegrown players over the age of 21. So in summary, for the goalkeeper, I think really I would expect Edison to be number 1, Bravo to be number 2. He seems quite content with that situation, with that position. Number 3, I don't know. I'd prefer it to be Bazunu or Danny Grimshaw. You know, Marca in Spain are saying it's going to be that City are offering a 1-year deal to Riesgo from Eibar. We'll wait and see. But I think we're well stocked in the goalkeeping department. So let's look at left back. okay, with the re-signing of Angelino. Now, Ben Mendy's going to come back, and I think he's going to be our number one. But this is his last season at City. If he gets injured, I believe. You know, it's his last chance, his last opportunity, because he's only played 17 games for us in 2 seasons. Won lots of trophies, but only played 17 games. He's an exciting talent. When he's going forward, he is exciting. Very, very exciting. Last season, 5 assists in the Premier League in only a handful of games. And he offers us something wonderful with those whipped in crosses. I mean, one that sticks in my mind is the cross 2 seasons ago to Leroy Sané for, I think it was the 4th goal against Liverpool, when we beat them 5-0. Fantastic play with Sané, and you know, he whips crosses in, beautiful bent crosses in, absolutely perfect, right into the danger zone, and he whips them in so that they're curling away from the keeper. So you could call it that corridor of uncertainty. If you're a cricket fan, you'll heard that phrase before. And the goalie just can't come out. He might start to come out and then realise the ball's curving away, and then he has to stay back. So that's very, very dangerous. So I think Ben Mendy's going to come back. He's still in Spain at the moment. He's not going to go on the pre-season tour. He's going to spend more time getting fit. So fingers crossed he gets fit before the season starts, and he's our number one. Who's going to be our number 2 though? Yeah, that's a difficult thing to consider, because we've got Zinchenko, who was the main left back last season, and he played. I mean, Delph played there as well, and so did Danilo. But I think Zinchenko was the main one from last season. He's a good kid. He works hard. He's been rewarded with a contract extension. She's on a 5-year contract now, and I don't believe he would have signed that contract extension unless he felt he was going to play some part for the team. Now, he's a very versatile player, so could he end up playing left back? You know, he's still got things to learn, but he's still young, early 20s, so he's got time. He can still iron out the errors. Could he end up playing defensive midfield, which I believe he has played for his home country, Ukraine, or could he end up playing attacking midfield or wide left? You know, there are other options for him, but he's a flexible, versatile player and a good player to have in your squad. So he's worth considering as a second choice left back. We've got Angelino. Obviously, we brought him back from PSV, buyback clause, rumoured to be €6 million after selling him for €5.5 million. He's another one who's going to be up and down that left-hand side, putting in the crosses, putting in the hard work. He's more of a dedicated left back, more experienced there. More, you could argue more suited there than Zinchenko, even though Zinchenko can learn more of the positional side of being a left back. So Angelino's another option. Is he going to be the second choice? Who else have we got at left back? Danilo, if he stays. Now, we don't know if Danilo's going to stay. You know, the rumours, strong rumours are that he's not going to stay. He's been at City for 2 years, in which time he's won 5 trophies, but not featured too much. On the other hand, at Real Madrid he won 2 Champions Leagues, but that wasn't enough for him. He's a squad player there, and he's a squad player at City. Does he want more game time? The rumours are that he's been linked with Juventus, and he might leave, or Inter. So it's interesting to see what happens with him. But in all reality, as I said, I expect Ben Mendy to be number 1 choice, and it might be a toss-up between Angelino and Zinchenko. Whoever does best in training will be the number 2 option at left back. Let's look on the other side. We've got right back Kyle Walker. Now, we've seen Kyle Walker's a very, very pacey, direct right back who'll go up and down all day long. I think he has some deficiencies as a defender. He gets caught out, you know, ball watching or not concentrating on occasions, and you know, when you're in tight games, you can't afford that. You know, we lost to Wigan, and I believe he made a mistake with the ball over his head, where he let the attacker get through, so he wasn't fully concentrating. But we saw also last season when Walker's form dipped and Danilo was injured, then Walker had no one to take his place, no one to threaten his place, and I think he needs that. think he needs someone of a high caliber to threaten his position. Now, when Danilo came back from injury, Walker was dropped for a few games. Danilo came in, and then Walker stepped up. I think, as I said, you need that competition, proper competition for places, so people and players know that if we don't perform, we're out, and someone else who is capable is going to be in. Not a makeshift like sticking John Stones at right back or Fernandinho or somebody else. A proper right back. Now, we've been linked with Cancelo from Juventus for around 50 million quid, I think, somewhere around that sort of level. I think City think that's too much. Now, Cancelo, would he provide competition to Walker? I think he would. I think he's another one of these pacey right backs who'll go up and down the wing and cause opposition teams a lot of trouble. Why would Juventus sell him if he's that good? You know, and they're looking at with Sarri a more expansive, entertaining style of football. I just don't get it. So I don't understand. We are linked with him. It'll be very interesting to see if he comes. You know, we'll see in the next week or two if he comes. And then what other options we have? We have no other options. We've got Danilo, as I said, flexible player. But if he goes, who is our other option at right back? We do need somebody. And as I said, I don't think we can play with John Stones there or anybody else. We need a dedicated right back to cause some pressure on the position for Kyle Walker. City normally have a 1, 2 and a 3. In terms of who they're going to buy. So they might have a first choice player in a position, a second choice if the first one we can't get for whatever reason, and a third choice. We've got to have plan A, plan B, plan C. You've got to have other options, contingency plans. I don't really know, if we don't get Cancelo, what our contingency plans are. There's been no strong rumours out there. You know, some people said get Pablo Maffeo back, but he's a kid, and at Stuttgart he didn't really do it. I don't think he got the opportunities, and I think he got criticised by the coach as well. So I can't see him coming back like Angelino has. Angelino made the Eredivisie team of the season 2 years on the bench, so you think he's got the ability and the quality to come back and at least have a stab at being a first choice left back and putting Ben Mendy under pressure and Zinchenko under pressure. But who's going to put Kyle Walker under pressure? So if not Cancelo, I don't really know who else it can be. I mean, obviously Wan-Bissaka was a name mentioned, but he's gone to United. Don't know, you know, so that's up in the air. I think we do need some cover. If Danilo stays, that's my preferred option because he's a very versatile player. Finally, talking about the defence, we've got the centre-backs. Now, obviously, Vincent Kompany has left, you know, after 11 years at City, a leader and a captain. But he played, I think, in total about 26 or 27 games last season. Otamendi, who apparently was complaining that he wasn't getting enough game time, played about 28 games. He played one more overall than Vincent Kompany. Emerick Laporte, I think, is our primary defender, our top centre-back. He played 41 games out of 61, and John Stones, I think, played 39. So let's look at the three guys who have stayed. Otamendi. Now, there have been rumours that he'd be going. And people are worried that some of the performances he's put in for Argentina in the Copa America have been quite poor. But I'm also thinking now that Kompany's gone, yeah, Kompany's games, someone's going to have to pick up the slack. And if Kompany played about 26, 27 games last season, then we need somebody else to pick up that slack. Now, Otamendi, you know, give him another 10 games, 10 or 12 games next season, and he plays about 40 games. Is he going to be happy? Is he going to be happy enough? Is he going to play enough to be satisfied? I think 40 games should be enough to satisfy you. Give John Stones a few more games. Give Emerick Laporte a few more games, and they can pick up most of the slack that Vincent Kompany, you know, those games that he played last season. John Stones, let's have a look at him. Now, I think from memory, in the last 2 seasons, he started really, really well. And in fact, we've all believed that John Stones would be the perfect long-term partner to Emerick Laporte. But he's had injuries and he's come back and he's not been the same guy. We can't forget that goal line clearance against Liverpool that, you know, basically you can argue lots of occasions helped us to win the title, but that was a big one as well. So John Stones, I think, you know, he's a confidence player. He just needs to get that confidence back. And fingers crossed, you know, a good pre-season. He's had problems in his personal life. Hopefully he can get them behind him and out of his head, and he can go forwards and be the centre-back that we all thought he was going to be in the last couple of seasons when he started the season on fire. So let's have a look, you know, firstly at the kids and who else might be coming through, and then who we could purchase, because we do, I believe, need a fourth centre-back. Now we've got Eric Garcia, who is, off the top of my head, 19 years old, and he's fabulous. You know, when he went on tour with the first team last summer to America, he looked incredible, composed, calm. He could sniff out danger. His anticipation of danger was fantastic, and Pep commented on him and said he, you know, plays like he's 23 or 24 years old. He's got that level of maturity already for such a young age. I think he was 17 last summer when he went. So yeah, he's an exciting prospect. I think he played 4 games for the first team last season in the cups and stuff like that. And I really expect him to come through this season and play more. It might just be that he plays a lot more cup games. You know, he could end up playing 7 or 8, 10 cup games for City next season, or this coming season, and maybe a couple in the Champions League, maybe 2 or 3 in the league. That, I think, you know, getting 10 or 12 games under his belt could be a good introduction to the first team for Eric Garcia, and we'll be able to see whether he can cope at the highest level. Then we've got Philippe Sandler, who we got from PEC Zwolle for, if I remember correctly, about €2 million or 2 million quid. And it's quite a funny one, because he was let go by Ajax. He was released by Ajax, so at least you know he had a good upbringing in football at Ajax. They play the game the right way. But you know, it concerned me that they let him go. But maybe City saw more in him than Ajax did. And apparently it's been said that Pep has been very impressed with Philippe Sandler. He was injured for a fair bit this season, but he played, I think, a couple of cup games for us. So it's possible that Eric Garcia and Philippe Sandler could pick up some of the slack. But for me, I want a fourth centre-back. I want a fourth centre-back, either someone young and very promising, because I don't think Otamendi will stay more than a year or 2 at City. So I want someone either young and very promising, or someone experienced and happy to be 3rd or 4th choice. I'll throw some names out there. Harry Maguire's been linked to us, but you know, I think City don't want to pay more than 60 million, and United have already bid, I believe, 70. Leicester are holding out for 80, 90 or 100 million. So I don't think that's going to happen at that level of money. Let's forget about Matthijs de Ligt. I think he's really seems to have gone off the radar recently. He's only 19. He was Ajax captain last season. He plays for the Dutch national team. He's very, very promising. I love the guy. I absolutely think he's a wonderful player. Some people say he's a generational talent. I think we'll only know in a year or 2 how good he really is. And he's rumoured to be available. I mean, apparently Juventus bid 49 million quid for him, which does sound very, very cheap. But I think there's got to be a big fee to the agent, Mino Raiola, who I don't think City really want to deal with. If rumours are correct, when Pogba went to United, Mino Raiola got 15 or 20 million quid. So there could be a fair bit of commission to Mina in the transfer of Matthijs de Ligt, which might be what puts City off, and the fact that de Ligt wants about €300,000 a week. Or Mino Raiola's pushing for that in wages, and that just breaks City's wage structure. So he seems to have gone off the radar. So we've got Harry Maguire. Who else? Well, Bonucci's been mentioned. Bonucci. Now he's 32 years old, plays for Juventus. Why would they release such a good player? I'd be surprised. He's got 4 years on his contract, and he's rumoured to be 50 or 60 million euros. Is that too much for a 32-year-old? I think it is. You know, who's only going to be here for a year or 2 at the top level? I think that's too much money. And for all we know, you know, he may be a fantastic player, but coming to play for City without any Premier League experience, it might take him time to acclimatise and develop and adjust, and then he'll be 33. I think that's too old. Another name that's been mentioned as a short-term stopgap is Toby Alderweireld. I think he's 30 years old. I believe he's got a release clause of 25 million with Spurs. You know, for me, he's had 5 years in the Premier League with Spurs. He's got that experience. He knows what the Premier League's all about, and for me, he's a better option than Bonucci. And I like him. I think he's a good, robust defender, and I think he could do a very, very good job for City. And the last one I'm going to mention, probably my preferred option, along with Toby Alderweireld, is Nathan Ake. Now his name has come up recently, and my own opinion is that, you know, we were heavily linked with Matthijs de Ligt. When we felt that was not going to happen, then we were heavily linked with Harry Maguire. We move to our next option, next choice, our plan B. Harry Maguire's not going to happen. We move on to our plan C, and suddenly a new name becomes very heavily linked with City, and that this time is Nathan Ake. Now I believe he's 24 years old. He counts as homegrown because he came from Chelsea. He spent his formative years there. That's very, very important to us. He's big and strong and powerful. He's got pace. He's good in the air. I think he anticipates danger. He reads the game well. For me, I say what's not to like. He's young, as I said. He has got a decent grounding. He's one of the better players at Bournemouth. He's available for apparently about 40 million quid. For me, he could well be my number one choice, because I would be happy to get him. I think he'd be satisfied in the first season to play fewer games than he did at Bournemouth. I mean, he played every game bar 8 minutes. Every minute bar 8 minutes at Bournemouth last season. So would he be happy to come to City and only play 15 games, 20 games? I'm not sure, but I think he would look at it, if he backs himself, he could look at it and say, look, I'm going to win some trophies at City. I might be getting an extra £30,000-40,000 a week. That's no bad thing. And if he believes in himself, he could push on and be a partner to Aymeric Laporte, who I haven't even mentioned. I mentioned him briefly. Aymeric Laporte, yeah, he's quality Rolls-Royce centre-back and number one choice. Yes, he made some mistakes towards the end of last season against Spurs in the Champions League. You can forgive him that. He's been a belter of a player this season. And I think he'll carry on to be a belter of a player in the coming seasons. So there you have it. That's my look at the defence, the centre-backs especially, because I think that's where we're very slightly concerned, and the right-back too. Let me know in the comments below, guys, what do you think? Is there anybody else we should be looking at defender-wise? What do you think might happen with the goalkeeper situation? What will happen with the right-back? Are we going to get Cancelo? Is there anybody else out there that's worth getting to put pressure on Walker? Guys, have a last look at Hollingworth Lake. If you haven't already subscribed to this new YouTube channel, I think we've been going less than a month. Already got over 600 subscribers. Probably the fastest growing Manchester City YouTube channel out there. It's not hard, let's be quite honest, because of our small numbers to start with. But that is a true stat. But if you haven't already subscribed, it'd be nice if you can do so. We're really keen to get to 1,000 subscribers so we can do some really good live streaming on the phone rather than on the computer, just to have that freedom to go to places like this at Hollingworth Lake and other places around Manchester and London and Paris, where I spend a lot of time. And you can see the sights whilst we live stream. That would be absolutely awesome fun. Hit the bell icon if you can to be notified as soon as we put new videos out. Tell your mates about the live streams, about this channel, and spread the word about Manchester City. See you around, Blues.